Hello, everyone. Next week, we have test 4, and this is actually an explanatory recording for test 4. We will cover week 9, 10, and 11, and I thought I provide some comments from now, so you prepare, maybe will help you prepare better for the test. It's just, we will talk about it also tomorrow. And if you have any questions, you can ask me also tomorrow during the workshop from the first part of the workshop. Now, if you allow me just to share my, so if we, this is actually the test. Maybe this is what you want to know now. It will cover week 9, 10, and 11. And I'm planning to have around 8. For week 9, I will have around 8 multiple choice question, which is the market risk. I will have 7 multiple choice questions for the OBS and derivatives. And the bulk of it will go to the capital adequacy, which is 10 multiple choice questions. Now, I recommend you can look at the book if you like, but you can look at, but mainly you start with the lectures, and actually you start with the tutorials, which is week 9, 10, and 11. We have finished all the tutorials now. Listen to the recording if you need. Workshops 8, we cover some part of it, and workshop 9, which is tomorrow, will be covering the capital adequacy. I will also upload the all tests, semester 1 for semester 1 and semester 2 2020, and it's optional for you if you want to look at them. I think what you need to know is the coverage of the test. So this is week 9, actually, the DEER. And the DEER, we covered the fixed income estimation, which is the daily earning at risk. And we covered the exchange rate and the equities. That's actually what we covered about the DEER. And then we talked about the aggregate DEER, which is the risk matrix. This actually is the most important, maybe, part in that week. Now, then this is actually if there is a calculation. Then we will go to the historical back. There is some calculation here, but I will not, no calculation. I'll just ask you about some theory. So here will be only theory. And the Monte Carlo also, a little bit theory, nothing about it. It's just, it's the, just one slide, nothing about it. And for this, I think you should just, don't worry about it. Please, you know, this is the theory part and this is the calculation part, and maybe both of them, you will have some theory, whatever here, but actually it's 8 problems. So I will divide them among this. I think week 9 is one of the most straightforward weeks we had. Week 10, when we talk about the OBS and derivatives, I think we first wanted to know the market-related and non-market related. This is the main divisions. But then when we talk about the off-balance sheet, so this is the non-market related, the OBS, and the market related is the derivatives. Here we talked about the surfaces. I don't want you to worry about the surfaces, actually. You can just take it off. But most of our work is here in the OBS part. Now, we talked about the direct credit substitute and performance and trade-related contingencies. This is for the contingent claims. And in this part, there is nothing much to talk about it. Because if you look at here, in week 10, week 10, part 1, there is so many things here in the first part. I don't want you to worry a lot about it. I just want you to understand the concept of the OBS. But when you come here, which is the structure, this one, 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 all of those, don't worry about them, because this is the structure of the financial products and how do they work. But actually, we have nothing to do about the risk. We are saying that this OPS is bringing some risk. We are interested to know what are the risks, but we are not interested in the financial products and their structure. This class does not discuss those issues. So I don't want you to worry about how do they work. So what I want you to worry about is when a question like this comes, for example, when we talk about the commitments. Now, in the commitments, we talk about loan commitments, loan reserves, and letter of credit. And specifically, we discussed when you endorse a commercial paper, for example. This is when we talked about the credit substitute, performance substitute, credit substitute. When we endorse a commercial paper, there is savings. And I think we have discussed this in the workshop. So you can issue that one between the discounter and between the drawer, which is the borrower and the lender, and they can use the bank. The drawer can use the bank if the cost of the bank minus the savings from the rate to the lender. If the weight of the saving of the cost of fund to the borrower is less than is higher. If the saving is higher than the cost to the bank, then we have to look at it. So we can use the bank in this case, which means if the bank is giving me, if the borrower is giving, the lender is giving me 50% discount, but then when I go to the bank, 50 basis points. When I go to the bank, they charge me only 30 basis points. End of the day, I'm making 2 basis points as a profit. This is what I want you to understand in this issue. In the commitment, for example, we talked about the commitments in general, and we have some calculations about the loan commitment, the drawdown, the what we call the upfront fee and the back end fees. This is all about the loan commitment, and we have discussed the loan commitment in details in workshop 8. All I want to say is, if you are going to get busy with those, I don't want you to worry for next test about the structure of the letter of credit, documentary letter of credit, all those performance and how does it work. I'm not going to ask about these issues, which I told you coming in this area. The paper, how does it work? For example, the bill endorsement, how does it work? The guarantees, how does it work? The documentary letter of credit, how does it work? The performance, how does it work? All of those, I don't want you to worry about it. I just want you to worry about the how this OBS works and how is it related to the risk. That's all. And we have discussed some of the questions, in the workshop about the calculation. This is all in the first part, and this is why I give this part, this week only 7 marks. The second part of it, which is the actually the derivatives. And in the derivatives, you can talk about the derivatives, but we are, this is if you are going to, because we have futures, we have options, we have forward contracts, and we have swaps. Now for the swaps, for example, this is a forward contract. This is a swap. Now in the forward contract, it's the only calculation coming in the FRA, which is the forward contracts when it is speculation, when it is trading, and when it is hedging. Other than that, I don't want anything here. Here is only some theory about it. And here is for the future contracts also some theory about it. This is all what we have discussed in this week. But if you look at here at the calculation, we did actually some calculation for the FRA. And you have to understand when you are a buyer or when you are a seller, and you have to understand, this part when you are making some trading. So when the bank is serving both sides in the middle, and we have discussed this in the tutorial, and we have discussed this in the lecture. That's all for part 2. Even this issue, this graph, you are not, don't worry about it. If you are going to translate this to calculation, it will be translated here. So this graph is even, this is just to show you how does it work, but actually the calculation is here. So in this part, in this part of the of week 10, we are going to talk only about the FRA. The first part, as I told you, we are talking about OPS, but OPS and how is it related to risk. And we talked, I told you about the OPS, about the commitment calculations, long commitment calculations, upfront fee and back-end fee and all these issues, and the endorsement of the fees and the savings when we endorse a paper. We endorse it only when there is a savings. Okay, now let me go to, I think, the main part, which is week 11. So in week 11, we talked about capital adequacy, part of it in the tutorial, and part of it will be in the case, which we will discuss it tomorrow. Now, we also talked about some other issue, one more issue, which is the market value versus the book value. We talked about capital adequacy calculations. We are interested in the standardized model and standardized approach. We are not really interested in the what we call the internal model. So internal model, don't worry about it. This internal model, you don't have to worry about it for the next test. I just want you to understand how to calculate according to the standardized approach, and most of the standardized approach, how to use the tables, and actually most of our work was in the credit risk. Now, for the market risk, operational risk, securitization risk, and interest rate risk, we are talking about, I will give you what we call a capital charge. How much capital exactly we need to buffer this risk, and you have to multiply it by 9.52 to get the risk-weighted assets. This is how it works. So I will give you the capital charge ready for those risks. this you have to calculate, and they will give you data. And we have credit risk on balance sheet and off balance sheet. And we have the tables of Basel, which is 5 tables, which I have already uploaded for you. You can, I name it for you from table 1 to table 5, so you can use them. It's for the conversion tables, it's for the on balance sheet and for the off balance sheet. I think that's all I want to talk about. So please focus on this issue for the next test, and hopefully we can you can manage the next test. Don't get stressed up over it. It is, yes, it's a lot of materials, but I'm trying here to focus to let you focus at least for the next test. Thank you very much, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye, see you tomorrow.